moving on to number 5, the Oregon Ducks. They went 4-12 last year. They finished third in the Pac-12 North. Here's a team I haven't yet figured out quite. They seem to have their ups and downs. They got really good drafts over the years. I think they've really improved that team. They got the young quarterback. They just haven't been able to put it together on both sides of the ball consistently. And so I think this year, after seeing their leader on their defense, Earl Renner, the linebacker, leave, he transferred to Army with the huge contract. I think the Ducks were kind of in need of a linebacker specifically, and they kind of decided that they were going to force the position a little bit, just because I'm not quite sure if taking the defensive back Lewis Clark and moving him to linebacker was the best player on the board, but I do see why they did it, just because of his low vol, and I think they're, like other teams, they're nervous about taking the chance this high in the draft. With Clark, though, you get a good player. He's undersized right now. He's 84 speed, so he'll lose a little bit of speed, but I think he'll still be a fast enough type of linebacker, surely faster than Renner was last year. The thing with him is he can tackle, which he's got a 78 tackle. Run defense is top notch, so I do think he'll be really good and active in the trenches, like getting downhill after the quarterback on blitzes, and in the run game, I think he'll be able to get downhill on that. Really good in zone coverage and punish. So I think that there's parts of his game that will be really good against the pass, but his man-to-man's only 74. And so that gives me a little bit of concern, because he still has 36 volatility. And considering you move from defensive back, you'd expect his coverage to be just a little bit better. But I still think he's going to be a solid player. Maybe not an elite type of talent, but I do think that Clark is a good player. I projected him more of a mid-first round pick. So to see him go in the top 5 was a little bit of a surprise. But I can't fault them. They had a need. They decided to take the player, force the issue, get the linebacker that they wanted. With that said, they did pass on Cutright, which I thought was a much better prospect, although I think that they did that because of the volatility. And you know what, that's going to change a lot of people's opinions once they get into these drafts and you start getting nervous about the volatility. And so Lewis Clark, the 5th pick, and in the second round, this is where they took their chance. They went ahead and they took the offensive lineman Jared McQuaid. And so a lot of these high-vol stud offensive linemen started dropping in the draft, and McQuaid was one of them. To get him in the second round, this is a top 10 type of talent if he booms. Fortunately, he's an 86 volatility, so this is the chance that you take. Looking at him, he's got really good feet, 60s in speed and acceleration. He's got really good strength with a 98, which you can't really go wrong having good strength. Even if he busts, I think that strength will help him. His intelligence is 78 and his discipline's 99. So he's basically a pretty smart and good football player. He's not going to get a ton of penalties, which I like. And then you got his blocking skills. Run blocking is maxed out. Pass blocking is maxed out almost. And so if he booms, then this is going to be basically a full maxed out guy. One of the better linemen that comes into the draft. And to get him in the 4th pick in the second round is going to be a steal. But like I've said before on these high vols, if he doesn't hit, he's so low in his currents that he could crater down and be in the 60s or the 50s even in pass blocking and run blocking, which would be a big deterrent, especially when he's going to make around $4 million a year. And so we'll see how it goes. I do like that they took a chance with one of these picks, because you can't always be safe when you're a team that needs to infuse a lot of talent. But looking at that, I think Sloth gave them a B, which is a solid grade, considering I think he felt similar to me with the first round pick, that he kind of pressed it. I gave them a B+. I just think that to get a solid player in the first and to get a absolute stud in the second, I'm kind of looking past vol, because I always project that they're going to boom, and I think McQuaid is a home run in the second round, especially being able to get him this late is just crazy. And so I gave them a B plus. And so that's your grades. Congratulations to Oregon.